I always felt the perfect combination for a college basketball coach, and Jim Boeheim's done this, and Mark Few's done this, and Mike Krzyzewski, because he coaches like Mark Few, USA Basketball. Kelvin Sampson at Houston, he spent 6 years in the NBA on several teams, and it gives you a sense of where you want to take the players. It's the ultimate destination. And he's now with the Houston Cougars. This was a program that I grew up with that was Phi Slamma Jamma. But when Kelvin took them over, they were in a drought. They had a 4 or 5 year spell. They were not a viable team, and he now joins us live. They face Duke coming up in the game of the tournament. You know, I asked Mark Few a week ago. I said, who don't you want to play? He goes, yeah, I'd rather miss on Houston. I've seen enough of them. You have created a team that's no fun to play. So that's beyond recruiting. That's culture. Yeah. When you got to Houston, you've done it 4 times. You did it at Washington State. You did it at Oklahoma. You did it Montana Tech, I think it was. What is it about you in the first year or two? How do you change, not just recruiting, how do you change culture in basketball?
I think one of the attributes a head coach has to have is he has to have a clearly defined way he wants to win the game. You don't have to pick the defensive end or the offensive end, but you have to have something that your kids will believe in. And I think culture starts with being on time. It starts with giving your best effort. It starts with your body language, being responsible so you don't have to be held accountable, being someone that has the right attitude every day. I spent a lot of time coaching attitude and effort before we can ever be a good team. I mean, that sounds simple, Colin, but all the great cultures have kids that will play for something bigger than themselves, you know, and that's in this day and age, we had 8 out of our top 10 players return. The year before, it was the same thing. I think we've had 3 kids transfer in 10 years that were in our top 10 players. Wow. So we haven't lived in the portal, although we do believe in the portal. But we have kids that when they come in as freshmen, they become sophomores, juniors, and now they're seniors. And our senior class this year, last year were juniors, and they were held accountable to seniors that are gone. And now that they're seniors, they fully bought into the things that we believe in. I've got a great staff. My staff is either my family or former players. Our support staff is former managers. So not really a resume guy. I don't take phone calls from people to tell me who they think would be good for us. I kind of make that decision on my own. So yeah. I think the program part goes with the culture, and it's been good for us.
You know what you sound like, Coach? You sound like a warm weather Villanova. That's what you sound like. No, I mean, he would go to the DMV, get tough kids. Villanova kids were loyal. They play beyond themselves. They play good defense. And it's really a lot of times in college basketball, if a team is defense first over offense, it may not be as glamorous. I like your athletic ability. I like your aggressiveness. I think it initiates your offense. You know, you look at that tape. You've been in the NBA. You put that tape in and watch Cooper Flagg. He reminds me of Jason Tatum a little bit. Like he's kind of good at it. He's kind of good at everything. What do you do when you face a guy? And Kelvin, he's going to get his. I mean, he's going to score. What's the mindset facing a kid like that is kind of special?
Well, less than, I guess about 24 hours ago, we were playing Tennessee in Indianapolis, and we got back last night, I guess around 11 or 11:30, got up this morning and did my analyzing, did our analysis of the Purdue and Tennessee games, and really haven't watched Duke a lot, but I have watched them enough over the course of the year. The first thing that jumps out to me is what a great job John did in putting his team together. You know, for example, bringing a kid like Sion James in to pair next to Cooper Flagg and Kneppel and the big kid inside, because he's smart, he's tough, doesn't require a lot of shots. He's got a lot of winner in him. Cooper Flagg was going to be the centerpiece. How they fit everybody around them is what's so impressive. How do you stop Cooper Flagg? Well, that's kind of a silly question. You don't. But you have to be the best version of yourself. We played in the Big 12 the last 2 years, and whether it's Kansas or Iowa State or Texas Tech, there's a lot of really good teams, and all those teams had a best player. So we'll come up with something. Now, will it be good enough? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But at the end of the day, every team has to focus on what they do good and try to be their best version of themselves for that 40 minutes. For that 40 minutes, we have to be the best version of the Houston Cougars we can be.
What did you learn in the NBA that you think even today, you think about it occasionally, that helps you as a college coach? Because you spent 6 years there. That's a spell of time.
Yeah, I spent 3 years with Scott Skiles.
Yeah.
And then I spent three years with Kevin McHale. One of my best friends in coaching is Greg Popovich. So Pop got me started with the Spurs, and then a month later, I'm with Scott Skiles. I think Scott probably helped me the most because he's a little bit of a basketball savant.
Yeah.
Extremely smart, prepared, organized. He understood how to hunt matchups. He was extremely good in the last 2 minutes of a game, situational basketball, taught spacing, understood how to teach and coach the game. He really opened my eyes up. Being with the Spurs just reinforced the things that I believed in with culture, because Pop really did when he was coaching the Spurs during that period. He ran his program like a college team. He had unbelievable character guys like Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, guys like that totally bought into everything he said. They allowed him to coach him. And Scott just took me to another level in terms of the X's and O's and opening my eyes to the importance of spacing and how do you get shots out of spacing. You don't have to rely so much on sets every single time. If you can get paint touches and have proper spacing, that can become your offense. So, and then with Kevin McHale, it was just being a manager. Kevin knew how to treat players. Players respected him.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit from all those guys. It was an unbelievable experience for me. It was almost like being a crash course in advanced basketball analytics.
Yeah. I was saying this, that is that I think the NBA, and I like the NBA, but I told Adam Silver when he was on my show 5-6 weeks ago, I said, I think you guys have marginalized college basketball. I said, the G League, Jalen Green's amazing. He disappears. I said, the reason I know who Zion is college basketball. I think the coaching's better. I think the kids are treated well. I said, frankly, if you play for a top 10 college basketball team, you're getting $4 to $8 million of free marketing. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. I said, or you can make a couple $100,000 in the G League. Like I look at the NIL as it buoys college basketball. It's your ally. You don't have, you say, listen, we can pay you 90% of the G League and I'll put you on TV 30 times. Is that kind of how you view it? That the NIL, initially it's like, oh boy, wild, wild west. But in a weird way, I think it's your best friend, actually. Zach Edey can stay for another year. How do you view NIL?
I think the antithesis of the G League is college basketball now. Guys aren't leaving early to go to the G League. They have to take too much of a pay cut. I think older players are becoming more in vogue for the NBA because of that.
Yeah.
You got guys coming out in their fourth year now that are demanding or can get a big contract instead of going out early and languishing on the Quad Cities to Erie, Pennsylvania, 4:00 flight in the morning. They're not doing that for a lot of reasons. But the NBA is getting older because of that. But I think college basketball is getting better. You look at all the veteran teams. Now, Duke is an outlier, but Duke's always been an outlier because they always get they get the best players, and good for them. They don't need to apologize for that. There's very few Dukes in the world. But if you look at teams like us, we have a very veteran team, and we have guys that could have put their name in the draft a couple years ago. I've got 4 guys in the NBA right now. Quentin Grimes, who stayed with me for through his 3rd year. Marcus Sasser stayed 4 years. Jamal Shedd stayed 4 years.
Yep.
Now, Jarris Walker was a lottery pick, but most of our guys are older guys, and the reason they're staying now is because of the NIL. It is what it is.
Yeah. Kelvin Sampson, 69% plus winning record, 3 Final Four appearances. This team is athletic. They are tough. They are physical. And I meant that as the greatest compliment. Villanova South, because I have so much respect. I knew Rowley and Jay Wright really well. And you guys remind me of it. Tough kids. They're going to class. They're working hard. They're coming back. And they become great pros. Grimes, by the way, was actually really playing well right now. Kelvin, good luck to you. I can't wait to watch it. And you've built another great program. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate you having me on.
You bet. Kelvin Sampson, Houston Cougar basketball coach.